Commissioner, a lot of great information tonight. I want to get specifically to what some people are asking, as you have heard time and time again. Why can't the insurance companies look specifically at what I, as a homeowner, have done to harden my house? I just get a blanket statement no matter what work I've done. What would you say to that?
We're seeing this happen at increased levels now. Unfortunately, as a Department of Insurance, we can't force insurance companies to write in a specific community. What we've done is now been able to track and verify that this is a real problem in these communities. And not only does it affect the individual homeowner, but it's affecting the local economy. Because if you can't find insurance for your property, then you can't sell that property. That affects the assessment of your property, and that affects the local tax base in counties that are already feeling that economic crunch. So we're saying we hear you. We want to get that authority to say that if you've hardened your home, that if you've done everything as a community to be able to say you're fire-wise, that we force insurance companies to provide coverage there in these communities. We're asking for that authority from the legislature, and it's something that we're negotiating with the legislature and the governor.
Tell me more about that. So your department currently can't force these companies to write in these communities. What can lawmakers do to make that happen?
We want lawmakers to give us the authority to say that you have to, as an insurance company, write in these communities, because people have done what we've asked them to do: harden their homes, get that defensible space. And if you've done this on a community-wide level, that's even more reason to say that you're lessening the risk. And so you should come in and write in these communities.
Where are we in this process? Is there a bill? Tell me about that.
So currently we're in negotiations with the governor and with the legislature, and we feel that we can, come to an agreement where we make sure that we have a strong insurance market, but that we also do something for our consumers, that we take care of people in the WUI because they're hurting. And we need to address this issue before it continues to grow in the years to come. We know that climate change is real, that we're having extreme weather, so this isn't going away.
As you know, the legislative session ends next month. Is there time to get anything through this year?
Absolutely. I feel hopeful. I think we can get some stuff done. We also have ideas of ensuring that we continue this process next year as the legislature reconvenes to tackle the issue of affordability. How do we help people afford the upgrades that we want? And that we are now required by law to follow. And we know that people here on mixed incomes. We have low-income communities, hardworking middle-class families that still can't afford the expensive upgrades. We need to get to tackle that after we tackle the issue of non-renewals.
As insurance commissioner, you have the benefit of tackling many issues that impact many people, not just small communities, but this is one of those widespread issues. You're in your first year in this position. This could be a hallmark issue for your time in office. Is this a personal mission to make this better for the state?
I have to reiterate, this is a California-wide problem. This isn't something that's just a Northern California issue. We've seen fires and extreme weather affect San Diego, San Bernardino, Riverside, Santa Barbara, Ventura. So I want legislators to understand that this isn't just happening in our, rural communities. This is an issue that is not going to go away as we continue to face extreme weather. I don't care who takes the credit for this. I just want to make sure we bring some relief to communities that are suffering right now and that are only going to be exacerbated as extreme weather continues to happen.
Final question here for you. Obviously, this was well before your term, but earthquake insurance. Someone brought that up tonight. That's something where companies stopped offering that in Southern California and throughout the state, and the state essentially let that happen. And this woman said, could the same thing happen with fire? How can you assure people that's not going to happen?
Exactly, and this is why we need to have that appropriate balance of regulations and incentives to make sure insurance companies stay in these communities. We don't want what happened after the Northridge earthquake, which was we heavily regulated the industry. We had no authority to prevent the industry from writing earthquake insurance. And so all we're left with is the California Earthquake Authority, where we know it's roughly 11% of Californians have earthquake insurance. We have to find that appropriate balance. This is why we're saying if you've done everything to harden your home, as a community you continue to mitigate these wildfires, that you should write. We're not saying that every single household will be forced to, we're forcing the insurance companies to write. But if you've done everything to protect your home, you should be able to write in these communities. We think that's an appropriate balance that won't destabilize the market and that will still encourage good behavior from the residents and demonstrate to the insurance companies that they're doing everything to protect their home and lessen the risk. We think that's a fair balance.
Instead of just relying on the fire line score, which residents have no say in.
Exactly. And the department has no say in it to see what these fire line scores are. How do we verify that? How do we understand what complexities and data they're using. We have no way of seeing that black box of information. These are independent contractors, and we want that authority. We want the authority to see and validate these scores before they start non-renewing folks.
Right, because as we're seeing, the FAIR plan, which is considered the last resort for people, it's now, for so many people, their only resort, right?
It's the only resort, and it's not comprehensive insurance, and it forces then consumers to buy additional wraparound insurance, which essentially you're paying for an administrative fee for additional insurance coverage, which should not be appropriate. You should have one insurance coverage, and if the FAIR plan is truly going to be fair, it has to be comprehensive and it has to have appropriate limits, and that's what we're asking for.